Okay, it's Bridgeby and AZ, and I want to thank Anne for gifting me this over Christmas. As an engineer, this looks quite intriguing, especially when it says, oh yeah, 14 plus for the age. So I assume there's going to be some tricky little building involved, sort of thing I enjoy. So let's open it up and have a look. Very nicely packaged. Instructions, screws. I have to say, some of these are the tiniest screws I've ever seen. Right, so we're unpacking the flat pack of pieces here. This is quite incredible. These are all laser cut pieces. So all these black lines are actually grooves all the way through the wood. There's very, very tiny hairs of wood holding them together to the outside piece. I don't know if they're showing up at all anywhere. It's really well done. So I've got all the pieces laid out here. Oh, another junk phone call coming in. Because it's past Christmas, I'm getting dozens of them. Just so many pieces. This is a card table, so I'm going to have to work on it. Great. There's also this other part, this A19, which I'm going to need as well. Oh, that part was pushing out. Here we go. It comes out pretty easy. Just need to file off the rough edges, and I'll work on these smaller pieces. So one of the fun things about working through the puzzles, finding all the pieces. I found some of them on this A board, but then you've got to go to the black coloured board. And there's B24, and B24 is the piece here. So you do have to go searching for parts, so it's handy to have a large table to spread them out on. And there's my first oops. I was just trying to push the part A4 up into the two holes, as it says in the instructions right there, and it just snapped. I guess those squares are not quite the right size, or they're too tight. Time to get out the wood glue. I kind of discovered that to get these nibs into the two holes, you need to put a little chamfer on the edges using the supplied emery board. A couple of strokes is all it takes each side, and they'll go in without stripping the top layer of plywood off, which you'll do otherwise. So when you're assembling these, you put it underneath these pieces here, move it along to where it is. This is the one that's been sanded, and you kind of gently rock it in both directions, this way and side to side, and eventually it gets all the way to the bottom. It's quite a tight fit, and you've got to finesse it in rather than force it in, otherwise it will break. To get these in, you have to not only just get them over and hook them in, but you've got to push them all the way to the outside. And then these line up properly with the border of the plank underneath. Alright, so I've got a glued butt joint here. It's not very strong. So I'm going to position this slide in the holes, and then I'm going to put some reinforcement on either side. And I'm going to use a piece that I cut out of the board that this part came out of, because there's a lot of spare wood on that board. I'll be using pieces of this for the reinforcement. Right, so I've got 4 pieces there that I've cut. I cut them using this sheet metal shears. I happen to have them. They cut through this pretty easily. So rather than sawing them with a tiny saw, which I don't have, I use that. I'm going to glue these either side, to each side, and then I'll put some reinforcing straps over the top. So here's the reinforced area. So I've got the part on, put 2 cut pieces on, then I put these 2 top pieces on, bridging it, and they're all glued together. This should give us a nice glued area to finish it. This joint's a little tree to put together as well. I ended up putting little chamfers on the inside of these grooves so that it would slide easier into this tube-shaped piece, and then you can push it over and press it down. Quite tricky. Oh, that's handy. These little screwdrivers are magnetic. That'll make holding those tiny screws a lot easier. Well, I managed to break a second piece. I was pushing this C13 into this and it just snapped, and I had it all chamfered, going in fairly easily, and it just broke. Stuff's pretty weak. So luckily the parts seem to go back together fairly well, and I've glued the whole assembly together. So I've put every part here for this particular sub-assembly aside to dry. Right, so in the instructions they say wax before assemble, and they're pointing to this gear. So I've popped the gear out, and I don't have the stick of wax they show, but I do have this stuff, which I've used on bare wood before, and I'm just going to get a paper towel and rub it in. Yeah, this should work. I'll make sure I get it on the actual flanks of the gear teeth too, so they don't wear out. So at the end of step 18, you've got the main gear wheels all built up. It's step 20, and it's time to break out the base. Okay, so knock the edge off it. It's this one, and I punched out all these pieces. They come out complete. You can see they've got individual parts in them, which will be used later. Well, I finally discovered a slightly easier way to get those little pieces on. Turn it over and then push from the outside. Just push it down and it'll go on, and I won't be dropping them all over the floor. Yep, got a lot more pieces on here now. Got the bottom run in, various other little bits. And here it is. It's all assembled now. All I've got to do is put the steel balls in and give it a run. So here we go. Oh, it got stuck. Okay, drop another one. That one's gone down for the storage. Okay. Oh, clever. Handle that raises the balls up, and they come up through the plastic bits here and they drop into the top, and off they go. So I may have too much slope on it this side now. Here they go. So the whole thing took about 4 days to build. You know, not 4 complete 24-hour days, obviously, but it was quite challenging to build. But it was fun though. I like it. Hope the kids like it.